Welcome to Cord Cutting today for June 13th, 2019. This is the show where I give you a quick look at some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, happening right now. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below, I'll put a link to each story. You can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you and love to know what you think of them. It is a cold, rainy, wet day, so don't mind the poor lighting, maybe poor audio in here, but bear with me. We'll be back somewhere different tomorrow, so one more day on the road where I am now. But there's been a lot of news. First though, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high costs of cable TV and still enjoy the shows you want to watch. Even when we're traveling, doing our best here. Real quick before we get into the news, a deal of the day. Insignia has their Fire TV Edition smart TVs, these 4K HDR TVs. The 43-inch version for $199. You can also get the 50-inch for $299. These are some really great prices on a decent TV, especially if you're a Fire TV fan. If you want a Fire TV on your TV, the Insignia Fire TV Edition 4K HDR TVs for $199 is a pretty good deal, and 99 cents to be exact. I'll put a link to it in the show notes down below. Using that link helps Cord Cars News. Also, probably remember over the last weekend we talked about how Starz was ending their $5 a month sale. Starz has confirmed to Cord Cars News that I guess it was so successful they decided to extend it until Tuesday, the 18th of June. So you have a few more days left. If you missed out on the deal, it's $5 a month for the first 3 months of your Starz subscription. As I always say, once HBO's Chernobyl ends, if you're watching that, maybe switch over to Starz for $5 a month for a few months and then switch back. Bounce around, take advantage of sales like this. Don't be afraid to cancel once and then move over and try a different one. It really is a great way to save some money and watch a ton of content. So link in the show notes to that deal down below. Again, they say now it will end on the 18th of June. All right, first news story of the day. Yesterday we reported on how the HD Homerun was coming to Roku players. Very late in the day yesterday, Silicon Dust, the parent company behind the popular HD Homerun DVR software and streaming, or antenna streamer, I guess we'll call it, officially released a beta Roku channel, and I'll explain that in a minute. The HD Homerun allows you to connect your antenna to it, connect the HD Homerun to your internet system through Ethernet, and then stream it out throughout your home and wherever you may be. It's a really great device for people who are looking for something to watch their antenna and stream it to multiple devices. If you have a media center, have a DVR, they are coming out with an all-in-one DVR that is available for pre-order right now. But the great thing about these is the ability to have a lot of flexibility and control over it. People have loved it. The thing people haven't loved is a lack of Roku support. It was available on devices like the Fire TV, but no Roku. Now, HD Homerun is reporting that they have it rolled out. Yesterday, at first, they reported it would work on Roku Ultra and Roku TVs. Now they're reporting that it's working on pretty much any Roku player that has a 9.0 software update, which right now is the vast majority of the current models. I think anything from the Roku 3 and up, the vast majority of them have been updated to the Roku 9.0 or higher. And I think most Roku TVs also have the Roku 9.0 or higher OS. And we've heard reports of the Roku 3 and more running on the supporting the new HD Homerun Roku channel. Now you won't find it in the channel store. You do need to go in and manually add it. It's very simple to do. You go into your My Roku account on their website, and I have all these instructions on below. You go into my.roku.com, you sign in. About halfway down the page on the left, there's a add channel with code. You click on that, you enter in a code, and if you want to find that code, it's in the story down below, and you hit add, and it'll be added to your Roku. This is a beta channel meant for testing, so you may find some issues here, little hiccups here or there. They'll love for you to test it, let them know what you find, so that they can continuously develop the app, make it better for its rollout to the full Roku channel store. This is really great. For a long time, their complaint was it didn't support what they wanted it to support to get Roku support out there, and now with it supporting Roku 3s and others, it seems like they've found a way to make that happen. So that's great news. Do you own a HD Homerun? Do you use it to stream out your antenna? Do you use it to record your antenna programs on their DVR software. I'd love to hear what you think of it. And I do know that there used to be workarounds to make this happen. For instance, a Plex server could stream it out to your Roku, but now you don't need that. There's a native HD Homerun app that will allow you to connect your antenna to your Roku through an HD Homerun. All right, next story of the day. As cord cutting grows, one more cable TV company is getting out of the TV service. Three Rivers Communication, which I believe is, I'm blanking out where it was, what state it was. It's in, I want to say like Montana, but bear with me, I may be wrong on that. Has announced plans to end TV service later this year. According to them, they have 15,000 customers in several markets, but only 1,800 of them pay for TV. I'm increasingly hearing this from small cable companies, that like Three Rivers Communications, where the vast majority of their customers do not pay for TV, and it just doesn't make it worth it. What's very interesting is in this, I have a YouTube interview with the head of Three Rivers in this story, and he talks about the fact that they just can't compete. He lists Dish and DirecTV as competitors that they're having trouble competing with, but they also list out the fact that they can't compete with YouTube TV, Hulu, PlayStation Vue, DirecTV Now, Sling TV, those kind of services that are really making it difficult for small cable providers to compete. When you only have 1,800 subscribers, it's a very tough market to negotiate with these content companies. And it doesn't seem like the content companies are interested in working with these. So Three Rivers is going to put all their focus on their phone service and their internet service. And hey, if you want to have stream or TV, you can always get satellite or a streaming service. This follows, I think RTC was one of the first ones to announce this year, and they're actually shutting down in a few weeks. RTC's Communications is another one, I believe in Iowa, that is shutting down July 1st, 2019. They're also saying, hey, basically, it's not worth it for us to try to compete in the world of TV when there's satellite and all these streaming services. We might as well just focus on internet as a service that we will really focus on. Have you heard of any other companies like this that are shutting down? I think there's about 3 to 5 of these services so far this year who have announced plans to shut down. I predict that this is the first wave of what will steadily become a rolling ball downhill, where these small and even some mid-sized cable TV companies in rural America will start shutting down because it's not worth it. Now, I used to have my internet when I first got the cord was through was American Cable or something like that, Cable America. Very small company, only in like 2 or 3 states, in a handful of towns. It was actually very good customer service. Small company, small town feel. Was very happy with the customer service. Internet was okay, but I can fully see why companies like that particular company would say, "Hey, we're in a handful of markets. There's satellite. There's internet streaming. Why are we dumping a lot of money?" Because often when you get deals to carry content like ESPN, you have to bring them a bag of cash to get the rights to stream it, and then or air it, and then you pay them by the subscriber for some of these channels. So I'm sure they're saying, hey, this just doesn't make sense. In the case of Three Rivers, to have 15,000 customers is not bad. You can build a good business off of that. But to only have 1,800 of them actually paying for TV, that's something where you kind of like, that's just not worth it. When you're looking at the grand picture, where we could put our efforts, where we could put our energy, it's just not worth it. Keep an eye. I'd love to hear if you hear any other companies, but keep an eye out for this. Over the next 2 to 3 years, I predict that this will become a ball rolling downhill. So I'd love to hear from you. If you've experienced this, let me know. All right, last story of the day is the big one. And this one is really meant to answer a lot of questions. When we do posts like this one, here's what current subscribers need to know, or you asked, we answer. These are posts meant to answer a lot of questions that we get. Well, late last week, about a week ago, we posted about how the AT&T CEO of Communications announced that they intend to merge DirecTV Now into the WarnerMedia streaming service. That they will take the DirecTV Now content, put it into the WarnerMedia app. So in a very Hulu-esque system, you can have a basic on-demand only version, and then you could add live TV onto it. Like how with Hulu, it's $5.99 for on-demand or $45 $44.99, whatever it is, for live TV, plus taxes where applicable. Well, it sounds like AT&T is doing the same thing, where they're going to have HBO and Cinemax plus some on-demand content from WarnerMedia for $16 or $17, which if you have HBO is actually not a horrible deal. But then on top of that, you will be able to, at some point down the road, add live TV for an additional cost. No, I do not think live TV will be $16 or $17 a month, because AT&T CEO clearly said eventually that from the way he talked, it's not going to happen at launch. It will happen sometime after launch. So the $16, $17 price will probably be on demand only, not HBO and Cinemax content, not live TV. But this makes a lot of sense, especially when you look at the fact that DirecTV is launching a third live TV streaming service, DirecTV A Thin package, which will reportedly revolutionize the way you think of TV. But it'll be a cheaper, thin version of DirecTV under the DirecTV name and brand as a streaming-only option. You're probably saying, Luke, that sounds a lot like DirecTV Now. Well, it is exactly like DirecTV Now. So it makes sense that AT&T doesn't want DirecTV streaming and DirecTV Now streaming to be two separate services. According to the reports, they're going to take DirecTV Now, merge it into the WarnerMedia, probably change the name to the WarnerMedia service, and then allow you to go and offer it as in their words, as a single unified search and user interface. I fully expect that when that happens, the DirecTV Now name will go away. That the name of this new service will be whatever the name of the on-demand service is, much like Hulu's, it's just Hulu, and then it's Hulu with live TV. And I expect it to be very similar here. Hulu should be a vision of how you see this. I would encourage everybody to view this as the end of DirecTV Now and the launch of something new that will hopefully set your expectations in a way that you won't be disappointed. What does this mean? The number one question I've got is, what does this mean for grandfathered customers? What does this mean about existing packages? We don't know. AT&T very well could fully honor them. AT&T very well could say, hey, DirecTV Now is done. This is something completely new. We're not going to honor grandfather packages anymore. That's entirely likely. I think that's unlikely, though. It could happen. I don't think it will happen. AT&T wants to maintain as many subscribers as they can, so they're going to try to keep you as happy as they can. Could this be a price hike? Definitely could. They could definitely say, hey, we're adding in all this Cinemax content, because HBO is now mostly included in most packages, and we're adding in all this original content and on-demand content from WarnerMedia. So we're going to say another price hike, maybe. That's much more likely, I think, than them eliminating your current package. You probably need a new app. You probably need to log into the WarnerMedia app to make it happen. But I don't expect it to end. I hope that answers all the questions out there that we can about the future of DirecTV. I do not expect it to happen at launch. We're looking at a fall launch for WarnerMedia's new streaming service. Maybe around Christmas or before we could see DirecTV Now merge in. I wouldn't be surprised until next year. It's also important to remember AT&T has a history of announcing things, a date, and then missing it and taking months, sometimes it's longer, for it to actually roll out. So don't be surprised if DirecTV Now or this WarnerMedia thing doesn't happen this year, even though they've said they intend to have WarnerMedia out this year. So that's it. I hope that answers your questions. I hope that addresses the flood of social media posts we've seen and emails we've received and more. But keep in mind, this is all to the best of our knowledge. This is us trying to understand what the AT&T CEO has said and go from there. So I'd love to know what you think of what he said, what you think they'll do with DirecTV Now. I do think it's a foregone conclusion that DirecTV Now will be merging into WarnerMedia. It just makes too much sense. Why have 3 different live TV services with 2 of them having the same name, DirecTV and DirecTV Now? Just too close. Why would you launch a DirecTV service as a streaming package when you have DirecTV Now? And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they split the packages. If they said, this and this package goes over to DirecTV Thin, this and this package goes over to WarnerMedia. Perfectly possible. We'll have to wait and see what happens. It's perfectly possible they'll give you an option. They'll say, hey, here's the packages available through WarnerMedia. Here's the packages available through DirecTV. Pick which one you want to go with. And once you pick, you're stuck into it. Other companies have done things like that in the past. So to the best of my knowledge, that's what's happening. I'd love to hear from you, though, what you think of this. What would you be upset if they eliminate the DirecTV Now name and kept the service? Let me know. Well, that's it for today. I'll be somewhere else tomorrow. I hope you have a fantastic day. Sorry about the rain and the internet issues for missing the Q&A yesterday. We'll be here tomorrow, and we'll be here on Saturday. And back next week for the regular cord cutting Q&A from the office. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care. I hope it's warmer wherever you are. It may not even get into the 60s today. Yeah, it's June. I'm going back to Texas. Take care, everybody.